Welcome to Buckets Playoff Edition. This is Action Network's WNBA betting podcast. I'm your host, Maria Marino, here with one of our analysts, Dano Mataya. Dano, it's good to see you. I know you weren't feeling great over the weekend, but as somebody who has some things invested in the Liberty, maybe Sunday made you feel a little bit better.
Oh, yeah. Terrible symptoms all day. Only reason I got out of bed was to watch the Libs, and they delivered. And that made a lot of the other symptoms go away. Winning a lot of money on them, and just seeing Stewie be Stewie. But we can talk about that later.
Yes, we'll get into it. Both really good game ones here in round two, I thought. And this is our best bets episode for Tuesday, October 1st. So round two continues with both game twos on ESPN2. What about best bets? You want to lay out any best bets before we really break these down?
Yeah. Shocker. Liberty minus 3.5. And then those who already saw or followed me on Action already hit the Lynx minus 4.5. It's still there. I still love it. And I also like Connecticut Sun team total under 74.5.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So full disclosure, the Liberty were favored by 4.5. Now we're seeing those 3.5, which is interesting. Maybe some folks expecting an Aces bounce back here. So if you missed game one, I mean, hopefully, like I said, hopefully you check these out. I know it was a football Sunday, but these were some really good games. Nice thing about W2, Dano, I find is the games are pretty quick. And even if you DVR and you just go back, watch on delay, it works well. I was at the game in Barclays Center, and the first half flew. There weren't a lot of calls, which I love. I don't love a lot of stoppages. So that first quarter just pretty much flew by. But the final score, 87-77, Liberty covering the spread of minus 3.5 easily. On the season series now, New York 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread. Again, we're kind of tossing most of that out the window now that we're into playoffs. One thing I thought was interesting too, the under was 5-0 in the last 5 head-to-head meetings before this one. This one went over the total of 163. And here again for game two, we have a total of 163.5, maybe 164 here as we're recording Monday night. But I think you touched on the big storyline of this game, which was Breanna Stewart. And we've talked about it so much going back to last postseason, coming into this postseason. Stewie has heard the noise. And I didn't even realize this. I don't know if you remember. I saw a clip that just resurfaced of Becky Hammon at the Aces Championship Parade. And I don't know, maybe she was a little tuned up, not sure. But she called out, she kind of trolled Stewie. She called out the 3 of 17 in game 4 at the parade. I thought, I didn't think that was super wise, but hindsight's 2020. What did you notice from Stewie's game besides the obvious, leading all scorers with 34 points?
I think it was kind of her decision making, but in the flow of the offense, not too much was forced. A few shots over Alicia Clark, and she got to the rim a lot more. I feel like when that mid range and the floater isn't working, it heats up a chunk of those field goal attempts. It also helps when she hits 2 threes. It's been pretty rare, but I'll take it in the playoffs. And talk about just being in an aggressive mindset and knowing that, look, you're here to win a championship. They're in your way. They've disrespected you. Go take what's yours. And that's what she's doing. And the fact that we have, her being able to switch on to kind of anyone defensively. I feel like Jonquil held her own with Asia. It's, she's not banging with anybody, really, so it's nice. When Kia Stokes is out there, we don't have to guard her, so.
Yeah, I did notice that too. So Stewie goes 12 of 19 from the floor. You mentioned the 2 of 4 from 3. And I noticed immediately, Stewie got going pretty early. And she got a couple of those runouts and layups like early. I think that's so key for her to
Mhm.
just get off to a hot start. But aggressive Stewie is my favorite Stewie. Like if she's aggressive and just being decisive, then you can see the results. So honestly, I felt like this was such a juxtaposition from the series that we got in the finals last year. Last year in the finals, the Aces just looked pretty much in control of everything.
Yep.
They made all the right adjustments. In this one, the Liberty were pretty much in control the whole time. I don't think the Aces ever ended up leading the game. Maybe very early on, but for the most part, they went on runs. I think they tied it up once. And
Yeah.
the Liberty,
When Asia Wilson went out the game, it's like whatever we do when a team is down a player or whatever. Like I don't know if it's a mental thing or playing down, or it just messes with your kind of game plan. But I mean, we saw it when we played the Aces without Asia Wilson at the end of the regular season. The one time we
yeah,
didn't cover,
yeah,
we were up like 18 in that game. We only won by 4. I think that was a good game to have and wake up everybody. But I mean, it's very rare you're going to see Asia Wilson be a team worst, game worst, minus 17 and the plus minus. And that was key. I mean, if we can keep Asia to 21-6 throughout the series, they're not winning a game. I don't see that happening because Asia Wilson's the best player on the planet.
right.
Hope you hear that, Stewie. And 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 yeah, but I mean, I'm really like just Sandy's got a great game plan. You're getting great minutes out of Sloot. Uh, Sabrina was just phenomenal. Huge shots when you needed them, and a couple finishes that were like just things of beauty, like the one where she went baseline around Jackie Young and then like
Mhm.
put it right over Asia Wilson's hand. Hit a couple threes right over Asia Wilson's hand.
Yeah,
So I mean, so impressed. She'll probably have some more assists because I can see Becky kind of messing some stuff up. So I
yeah.
was looking at the Sav assist prop. She had 12 assists against them earlier in the year, 3 once, but 5. I think it's 4.5 at most places. So I would take the over there. She's locked in. She really is. And I feel like we haven't really gotten great Benaja yet ever since I bet her over that one time.
Yeah, right.
Um, she hadn't made a 3 since. So we're due for a good Benaja game. I'm not betting it because I just want to see her get back to normal. But great minutes from the bench. The Aces bench I think has to change. I think they'll probably play some Meg Gustafson, which is probably in the long run not a great thing for the Aces. But it does at least throw a different look, and you do have to guard her at the 3. Uh, Still,
Yeah.
I just think we're getting 3 points for being at home, and to think that we're only a half-point favorite with the way that we've been playing, the mentality this team has. I was just going to put a unit on it, but I might put more, and that's the fandom in me.
Full disclosure.
Yeah, but
So, yeah, first of all, we'll prognosticate this game too a little bit more, but I just have to geek out over my printed box score that I got from the game. I love this shit. So if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm holding up the
yeah,
official box score. But yeah, you mentioned, I thought what was huge, 6 rebounds from Asia. I mean, that is like literally half of what she averages on the season. Big reason why Jonquel Jones had 12. Really, when you look up and down, the Liberty dominated every category. They won points in the paint. They won second chance points. They won fast break points. Interestingly, I mentioned the rebounding battle. They did have a few more turnovers
yeah,
than Vegas, ironically. And then how about this? Liberty shot 50% from the floor, 42% from 3. So I say all this to say I am not expecting everything to go right for the Liberty in game 2. Okay. This is still a very tough team. You mentioned, I think Becky Hammond showed last postseason. She is a master of adjustments. She's a very good motivator. This team's going to be, they're going to fight. So seeing the line move to 3.5, I am definitely intrigued on the Liberty. I'm almost curious. I don't know if it's going to move anymore, but I'm curious if it will. Just because I think, like I said, I think a lot of people are like, the Aces, are they going to make this interesting? If I'm leaning one way, it's certainly the Liberty. I'm not 100% on a side quite yet. I pulled up the Sabrina at one book anyway. I'm seeing 5.5 assists, but at plus money. So interesting there. But yeah, honestly, I really think that listening to post game, Brianna Stewart literally mentioned both on the court with Holly Rowe and in the post game media presser, like basically saying like, I didn't do my part last time. Like I need to be better. So like, she's thinking about it. And even if she's not as efficient from the floor, I think as long as she continues that aggressive mindset and just takes what the D is giving her, gets them on their heels. The other thing I would be concerned about is, I think what makes the Aces such a pain in the ass, and I mean that fully as a compliment, they are masters at creating and selling contact. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some foul trouble in game 2, maybe JJ get another foul or two, something like that, because they're going to just push you to the brink of what the officials are going to allow, because this is do or die. Becky Hammond said this is do or die. So that's the only other thing I'll add. Any other thoughts?
Ryan Williams, a receiver from Alabama, cross sport reference here, but he had the black tape that said "kill everyone." That's kind of the mentality that I want the Aces to have. Yeah, they will die tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think we were hunting Chelsea Gray a little bit too. I think she just is not the player she used to be. Good luck guarding any of our players.
Yeah.
And yeah, the illegal screens got to a point where I was with my raspy voice on Sunday saying the F word as loud as I could, because I couldn't stand those calls. I had to be at least 3 or 4 turnovers. Like there was one where Stewie ran down, went to post up against Tip Hayes, and Tip Hayes just fell down, and it's a foul on Stewie.
Well, that's exactly what I mean. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more of that, and just things not necessarily going the Liberty's way. So we shall see. It should be another great game, but you are riding with Liberty minus 3.5.
It feels like the most important game of my life. Every game from now on is. But I do think we're going to protect home. I think the energy will be there, and basically saying I need to be up by more than one possession. Like that's fine. We've been dominating them for most of the year, like dominating.
Right.
And I just really think, I would not be surprised if we sweep. It's hard to do, but there's a lot of mismatches out there, and I'm sure the Aces can take game 3, but we've been the best team all year for a reason. Now is not the time to fold. Pun intended with the Aces.
I love it. No,
let's effing go Libs.
Yeah, and to your point, one other point, we'll get to the second game in just a second, but I do agree that we could see a better Benaja game. We could see a better Phoebish game. I think we could even see Jonquel scoring more. Like there's certain things that I think there still is some flexibility, as much as I think there is some chance for regression, just in terms of, I know Aces are going to be desperate. They're going to probably do some things better. I still think we haven't seen quite the best from a couple other Liberty role players either. So there was about 14,000 fans on Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if there's even more on a Tuesday night when the Jets were playing on Sunday, et cetera. And also Sab kind of called out the crowd, like, keep showing up. We need you. Spike Lee's there. He's, injecting the New York in everyone's veins. So super, super fun environment. But yeah, I'm personally still a touch hesitant, but I may get around to betting the Libs
Maria,
minus
I'll
three and a
bet
half.
it for you. We can move
Stop.
on. I'll bet it
Stop.
for you.
Okay. All right. So we've done 15 minutes on Aces Liberty. Let's move over to Sun Lynx, and I want to make sure that we give this its due too, because this was a freaking great game. Oh my
Was.
god. Oh, what a game.
It
I
was.
was, I'm so glad talking about like viewership priorities. Like the Sunday night football game was kind of like a blowout. So I was like, forget it. I'm not even switching channels
Yeah.
anymore. Like I'm just watching Sun Lynx. So so Connecticut ends up pulling out the win. The game one upset 73-70. So they covered the spread of +4. Lynx favored by 4.5. I'm now seeing some 5s out there for game two. We have the total of 151.5. Basically, just to update the season series, Minnesota now 1-3 straight up, 2-2 against the spread. But remember, each game has been decided by 5 points or fewer. 2 of the 4 games have gone over the total. Obviously, the key thing here was Nafisa Collier didn't score 40 points like she averaged in the first round. She was held to 19. So, not her best shooting performance. 7 of 16 from the floor, did not make a 3, which I think is notable. And then playoff Alyssa Thomas. I think playoff AT is certifiably a thing now because, and this is something Joe Delara has talked about a lot, she takes more of the scoring load on. She had 17 points in game one, 9 assists, 10 boards. So I guess I was a little bit shocked just because the other thing about Alyssa Thomas, not just the stat sheet, but she made the biggest shot of the game, that like mid-range. I don't think you would call it a jumper. I think
push shot.
We call it the push shot. But I'm trying to remember the sequence now. So first of all, was that just before or after the play that Minnesota executed out of the timeout that led to the fee bucket? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
That was after, I believe.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
And then was it Mabry that hit the 3 at the end to kind of? Oh, now
No, that was a lot earlier. I mean, granted, like nobody scored for like a few minutes, but no, it was
I'm
Fee hit the
misremembering.
layup to go down 1. It was 71-70.
And then Alyssa Thomas, I think.
Yeah, Alyssa Thomas scored the possession before that too, though. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Either way,
yeah.
AT was making clutch. She was making clutch shots down the stretch, and then the final possession for Minnesota was just lackluster at best. I was expecting something a little more
from the
inventive.
coach of the year.
Well, like I said, like
I'm a hater. I'm sorry.
Prior coming out of the timeout, like they executed that great play, and I was like, "Holy hell!" Like there's some coaches in this league. I'm not going to call anyone out, but I wouldn't expect a play like that to be executed. And I was like, "Wow, impressed!" And then the last possession was like, meh, meh.
Yeah.
But hey, win is a win. I guess I would be absolutely shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if Minnesota does not win game 2.
Yeah.
But the way that these games have gone, like I said, every single one has been decided by 5 points or fewer.
Yep.
I get a little nervous with Lynx -5. I think you got it at -4.5. It's still out there.
Yep.
I like it, but it's right on the brink of where I'm like, this could be another dogfight.
I think we're due for a blowout, and I love my trend. I love my trend. The fact that now last 7 series for the Sun, 7-0 against the spread in game ones, and the last 6 coming into this one, 0-6 in game 2 against the spread. I think we're going to see that again. And yes, they have been dogs in 3 of those games, at Chicago in 2022 or 2023, and then
At New
at
York,
Vegas,
probably.
at New York. So yeah, I mean, Lynx also shot. I mean, this is the. I mean, if they get this regression from the entire season of good shooting they have, then so be it. They were 1 for 11 from outside the paint in the fourth quarter. You're never going to win like that. Uh, I don't remember Courtney Williams doing anything in the fourth quarter, and
Right.
she's one of the players that takes a lot of shots in the fourth. So, um, I just, I mean, this game felt like Lynx could go on a run at any moment and put them away, and I think that's what we're going to see tomorrow. Uh, the Sun offense just can just drag. It can
Mm,
get so rough to watch, and I mean, if that game was maybe had an extra 2 minutes, maybe they don't win. It kind of
mm.
felt like that. It's just like you had to be up at the right time. Credit to Marina Mabry, but I see this game definitely going different. I think the Lynx roll. I would take an alt spread, but I don't think they're going to win by uh, 16. So I I think they just come out and handle business on their home court and send a message and make everybody think about how they're going to bet game 3.
Yeah, and again, I would not be surprised. I mean, there's I don't think any greater motivator than we just lost we just lost a winnable game
Yep.
on our home floor. We just kind of said we just did not take advantage of our home court. Game 1 is it's so important. I think it's the most mentally it gives you the most mental gymnastics when you're the home team and you lose game 1. Now, that being said, to your point, there's the history of the Sun in game 2. And we do know that the Liberty last year lost game 1 and then went on to actually sweep the remainder of the series, or won, 3 in a row to win um, against the Suns. So it's been done before. It's not unheard of. This is the Lynx are it's not an inferior opponent, so there's no reason why this shouldn't be like exactly what you're saying, like a bounce back spot for the Lynx. But let's talk about the team total under for a second and why you like that for the Sun.
I do think that the Sun have gotten close to to finding a rhythm, and it helps that Marina Mabry starting. But outside of that, it's very hard to trust this team offensively. They just get some of these sets where the ball doesn't move until there's 7 seconds left on the shot clock, and then someone is forcing something up. They get a lot of free throws. We've seen that time and time and again. But I mean, if I look against how they've played against, if I look at their totals against some of the teams they've played that are on the higher caliber of defense, especially at the end of the season, 67 against the Aces, 71 against the Aces, 76 in that crazy game at home against the Lynx. Uh, what they put up against the Liberty. Those were the other 2 games I wanted to see. 72 against the Liberty in the one game they did win.
Right.
68 against the Liberty, 74 against the Liberty. I mean, that's not the way they beat you. They're not gonna score a lot, and I feel like there's got to be a mental thing there where okay, we got our one win, we took care of business, uh, and I think the Lynx put the clamps on them. Lynx have been
Yeah,
the best
no,
defensive team all year.
agreed. Agreed. And just even looking at the box score and sort of the breakdown of the scoring, you're right. Like the Lynx did not lose this game because the Sun were scoring a lot. The Lynx lost this game because they scored 8 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Like, period. And we've talked about this sort of shot variance with the Lynx a bit. Like sometimes when they're missing shots, it can be, or missing threes in particular, it can be problematic. But that's not going to change the identity of the Sun and who they are and what you just laid out as far as their scoring output against better defenses. That is who they are. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't have any gripes with that.
Yeah,
um,
send it.
yeah. So also, like, Fee's officially Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm just going to say, I think it was deserved. I know you can look
Yeah,
at some of Asia's stats and definitely say that she deserved it. I think that would have been perfectly acceptable. But Nafisa also in some major stats, she performed, and like she has led the best defense pretty much all year,
yeah,
whereas the Aces as a team weren't as strong defensively until I would say maybe like the last 10 games of the year. They sort of buckled down. But you know, Fee's not going to block as many shots as Asia, but she is going to alter a lot of shots. And I read that she held opponents to like the lowest field goal percentage mark in the league when she was the nearest defender, contesting the shot. So just want to give Fee her flowers, because yet again, Becky was like, I don't know, I thought she kind of took a shot where she was like, if you gotta dig for analytics, I think you already know your answer. It's like, all
yeah.
right, all right.
I've had enough of Becky, even though she'll like compliment Sab and stuff. That's cool. But I've had enough of her. Hopefully, it's only 3 more games at max.
Oh my god.
Um, I do. Wait, two. Yeah, 3 more games at max. Uh, I was wondering if there was like a trend of winning an award and losing on your home court, but no one's done that yet.
Ooh, that's interesting. That would be interesting
Yeah,
to
I
to
mean,
see.
I I'm excited. I wish they staggered these series so I could get my
A
libs
taste
fill
every
on one
night.
day and then next
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
But it's okay. After Tuesday, we just have to wait till Friday.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of, buckets will be back on Friday, of course, with more best bets. So stay tuned for that. Um, Also, if you don't already, definitely follow Action Network on YouTube. We're going to start throwing in some little YouTube videos as well. Also, if you don't already, you should follow Action Network on YouTube, because we'll be sharing some additional content throughout the postseason. And I've been making some appearances on Green Dot Daily as well. And as always, follow the crew on the Action app. You already heard Dano talk about um, logging some of his picks. So, if you want to know right away what someone's betting before the line moves, like, you got to dial into that Action app and make sure you can jump on it. And plus, it's just so easy to like line shop. You see all the books right there. And I think that certainly takes some of the time out of actually betting. So, once again, thank you for listening to Buckets. Thank you, Dano, for joining us here on the pod. Always a pleasure.
Let's go, Libs.
Yeah, if you can't tell, Dano is rooting for the Libs in multiple forms and fashions. But yeah, it should be just another great playoff slate, and we will see you back again Friday. Let's get buckets.